May 2025 Horoscope. Check timestamps for your Zodiac sign. May 2025 Aries Horoscope. May 2025 brings a range of experiences for Aries. The Sun's month-long transit, first in your sign and then in your second house, may not offer substantial help overall, but its exaltation early in May provides small advantages. Mars, your ruling planet, spends the month debilitated, limiting its usual benefits. Meanwhile, Mercury's influence appears lackluster until around May 23rd, at which point communication and decision-making might improve. Jupiter, in contrast, promises stronger support. It remains completely favorable in the first part of the month and offers somewhat better than average results later. Venus similarly leans positive, whereas Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu exhibit mixed or weaker influences. On balance, the first half of May stands out as more promising, yet success still hinges on taking proper precautions in matters of health, finance, and relationships. Career. Your career outlook in May reveals an interplay of challenges and incremental victories. Saturn, Lord of your 11th house of gains, continues in your 12th house, a placement that rarely suggests easy progress. Nonetheless, for those working far from home or in international or high-travel roles, Saturn can occasionally confer advantages. Business people may have to push through sluggish developments, as plans often move slowly. Even so, traveling to meet clients or partners could bear fruit, particularly if approached with patience. Meanwhile, salaried workers, especially those required to travel or handle fieldwork, may find outcomes slightly more encouraging than entrepreneurs. Occasional roadblocks persist, but the second half of the month should bring clarity as Jupiter starts to boost ingenuity at work, guiding you towards strategic solutions. Finance. Financially, May displays modest yet stable trends. Saturn's ongoing presence in the 12th house can keep expenses elevated, overshadowing potential earnings at times. Your efforts might not always translate into immediate financial gains, leading to mild frustration. Still, with Venus exalted, you preserve your accumulated wealth, and Jupiter's early transit through your second house safeguards your core assets from major depletion. Once Jupiter shifts into your third house mid-month, you may see fewer opportunities to enhance fresh savings. Some modest shortfalls could occur if new income fails to materialize. However, Jupiter's protective role prevents serious money troubles, helping maintain equilibrium. Consistent budgeting and measured spending remain key, preserving a steady balance and preventing unwelcome financial strains. Health. Health prospects appear mixed, necessitating added vigilance. Mars, ruling your ascendant, resides in a weak position all month. The changing weather may heighten your susceptibility to colds, fevers, or general fatigue. Individuals with existing cardiac or respiratory issues should prioritize consistent monitoring, as a debilitated Mars can raise the likelihood of blood-related imbalances or chest discomfort. The Sun's exaltation in your first house during early May offers a partial safeguard against severe illnesses, but it remains insufficient for complete protection. Maintaining healthy routines, such as adequate hydration, gentle exercise, and timely checkups, will be crucial. By devoting attention to minor health signals, you can avert complications and keep your energy levels sufficient for daily responsibilities. Love, marriage, and personal relations. Romantic interactions carry both promise and caution. Mercury, which governs your fifth house of love, remains lackluster until late May, while Venus, the planet of affection, remains in an auspicious position, promoting warmth and harmony. Committed partners should behave respectfully, as the exalted Sun in early May enhances love for those who stay above board, but may expose indiscretions among those acting recklessly. Married life centers on the 7th house ruler staying exalted early on, facilitating brief but pleasing periods of togetherness. That said, minor strains might develop if work obligations or small health concerns create distance. Mars's aspect on your 7th house can incite disagreements. Still, Venus's strength usually prevents these issues from escalating, and better communication helps keep relationships on track. Family and friends. Family affairs stand to benefit from Venus's exalted presence, contributing to pleasant domestic interactions. Jupiter's early month placement in your second house augments positivity and stability in household matters, although it shifts mid-May to the third house, lowering its direct support. Even then, Jupiter's influence keeps friction relatively manageable, countering potential tensions from Saturn's vantage in your 12th house. Maintaining transparency and humility can diffuse any misunderstandings. Minor friction with siblings may arise, as Mars remains debilitated and can elevate irritability or lead to breakages of household items. Staying composed, addressing issues promptly, and valuing elders' counsel encourage a harmonious home environment. In essence, while some familial ups and downs persist, pragmatic choices and open communication can foster contentment and unity throughout May. May 2025 Taurus Horoscope. May 2025 appears largely favorable for Taurus. Venus, your ascendant lord, remains strongly placed in your profit sector, often signaling prosperity. Early in the month, the Sun, though exalted, travels your 12th house. While the 12th is typically unfavorable for the Sun, its exaltation can temper difficulties or grant specialized benefits. In mid-May, the Sun moves into your first house, a placement that may underdeliver relative to your expectations, yet it won't drastically diminish overall positivity. Mars, though debilitated in your third house, still exerts mostly helpful influence. Mercury's shifting positions, from your profit zone early on to your 12th house, and eventually improving after May 23rd, suggests variable mental acuity and communication flow. Jupiter's alignment similarly produces an array of results. It starts strong, but wanes somewhat in late May. Saturn, anchoring your gain sector, leans favorable, while Rahu supports finances in your profit house, albeit not strongly. Ketu in your 5th house grants limited advantages. Despite these mixed planetary signals, you can anticipate gains with wise effort and pragmatic thinking. Career. Your professional prospects look promising, as the Lord of your 10th house occupies your profit sector throughout May. Saturn remains in its own nakshatra, conferring stability and reinforcing your path to measured success. Maintaining steady effort is more prudent than taking large risks. Entrepreneurs should focus on consolidating existing enterprises rather than exploring completely new projects. In the first week, Mercury, important for trade and communication, sits in a weaker position, so wait for improved clarity after May 7th if planning significant decisions. From May 7th onward, traveling for meetings may prove fruitful, but avoid hasty moves while Mercury transits your 12th house. After May 23rd, conditions brighten, allowing for incremental gains in both business and job roles. Employees, particularly those eyeing a shift, may thrive in early May, though it's equally viable to remain in a comfortable position if no urgent need for change arises. Finance. Financially, May highlights average to positive returns. Jupiter, associated with your profit house, transitions from your first house early on to your second house later in the month, though its link to a debilitated Mars complicates absolute gains. While you might experience minor shortfalls, proceeds still come through eventually, possibly delayed or slightly reduced. Meanwhile, Saturn's strong vantage in the gains sector helps keep income streams steady, especially if your work or business draws upon multiple revenue channels. The Sun's transit early in your 12th house can strain your savings a bit, but budget discipline counters overspending. Venus, exalted in your chart, further enhances potential earnings. On the whole, May should let you earn decently. Saving, however, demands extra diligence. You're unlikely to lose existing reserves, but expansion in new investments might require postponement until more opportune periods. Health. May's health outlook skews fairly positive but still demands watchfulness. The Sun starts exalted in the 12th house, which is not traditionally beneficial for vitality, yet its heightened dignity wards off severe ailments. As the Sun migrates to your first house mid-month, health protection may dip, so staying mindful is essential. Mars, albeit debilitated in your third house, mostly bolsters your energy, yet can induce minor irritability or fatigue if you overexert yourself. Additionally, changes in temperature or climate might create sporadic discomfort, like mild fevers, colds, or digestive unease. People with chronic conditions should adhere to established treatments and remain alert to subtle symptoms. Any momentary ailments likely pass quickly if you maintain balanced nutrition, moderate exercise, and sufficient rest. Love, marriage, and personal relations. Your romantic life experiences shifts driven by Mercury's movements. Initially positioned favorably for bonding but in a debilitation phase, Mercury ensures only modest advantages in love from early May until May 7th. Afterward, Mercury moves to your 12th house, where it exerts less direct influence on relationships. Once it transitions post-May 23rd, communication may flow more easily, offering renewed closeness. Moreover, exalted Venus fosters warmth and support, safeguarding your love interests from major disruptions. Meanwhile, Rahu and Ketu's mild presence requires you to remain mindful of boundaries and realistic expectations. Married individuals may manage well this month. Despite Jupiter's evolving stance, it consistently aids stability in marital life, though some tension might persist if external obligations interfere. Strive to keep mutual goals clear and sustain respectful dialogue to limit needless conflicts. Family and friends. Family matters in May hover between average and mildly favorable. Mercury, ruling your second house of family, changes positions twice. It starts in your gains house, promoting harmony despite small hurdles. Yet from May 7th to May 23rd, it resides in your 12th house, which can reduce familial bonding. Absent or traveling members could disrupt usual patterns, while communication gaps might briefly arise. Still, your siblings likely stand supportive as Mars in the 3rd house, though debilitated, rarely undercuts strong sibling ties. Domestic affairs benefit from the 4th house's relatively stable planetary influence. You could purchase or repair essential household items, seeing mostly favorable, if modest, results. In the second half of May, improved Mercury placement and Jupiter's continuing presence in your 2nd house keep familial peace manageable through patience and clear discussion. May 2025 Gemini Horoscope. May 2025 suggests generally average outcomes for Gemini, potentially dipping slightly below expectations in some areas. Mercury, your ruling planet, shifts positions twice but remains mostly favorable, bolstering communication, planning, and adaptability. The Sun's early positioning in May benefits you, yet its later transit could lose strength. Mars stays in an unhelpful state, while Jupiter offers only modest support overall. Saturn likely yields middling results, and Venus exerts mixed influences. Meanwhile, Rahu and Ketu do not promise major benefits. On balance, you should experience ordinary levels of success across various pursuits, though the first half of May seems stronger than the second. Career. In your career, Jupiter, ruler of your 10th house, undergoes a shift during May. Initially, it resides in your 12th house, then moves to your 1st house mid-month. Although neither placement is especially advantageous, Jupiter's relocation in the second half leans marginally better for career growth. Meanwhile, the Sun remains supportive until mid-May, raising prospects for recognition and momentum. Overall, these factors produce a scattered pattern of gains. The latter part of the month might bring fresh chances or responsibilities, but only with diligent effort. Those in business can anticipate mostly positive outcomes. Mercury, planet of commerce, passes through your 11th house from May 7th to May 13th, a window that may boost transactions or partnerships. If you're employed, watch for slight turbulence. Colleagues could scrutinize your work or question your methods. Keep calm and polite in communications to avoid unnecessary clashes. Despite minor hurdles, you should manage to fulfill expectations. Hence, the second half of May likely eclipses the first in providing improved career prospects and opportunities. Finance. Financially, May presents a mixed picture. Mars, lord of your 11th house of gains, remains debilitated in the 2nd house. Although placing the Lord of Gains in the wealth sector can be promising, Mars' weakened status moderates results. Nonetheless, the exalted Sun in your 11th house through the first half promotes profitable activities. Additionally, Mercury traverses your 11th from May 7th to May 23rd, which should improve earnings or deals. However, you might see average gains rather than exceptional windfalls. As for savings, Mars's position undermines accumulation. You might rely on or tap into prior reserves. To safeguard assets, prudent management is key. Jupiter's second half improvement helps if you consistently strive, but immediate rewards remain modest. Overall, finances hover around average levels. stable, but not especially dynamic. Health. In terms of well-being, May's transits suggest variable results. At the month's outset, Mercury, your ascendant ruler, suffers a brief debilitated spell that can affect your vitality. After May 7th, Mercury's favorable stance should reinforce your ability to maintain robust health. Still, Mars sitting debilitated in your second house can undermine dietary habits, prompting you to indulge in foods incompatible with your constitution. An irregular diet could cause digestive complaints or acidity, yet Mercury's overall beneficial influence should shield you from serious illness. Likewise, the Sun's supportive transit in early May helps sustain energy. By staying disciplined, opting for balanced meals and consistent routines, you can navigate most health challenges relatively easily. Should you succumb to poor habits, outcomes dip accordingly. Love, marriage, and personal relations. Venus, exalted in your 10th house, sets the tone for romance. Although the 10th house is not typically ideal for love matters, exalted Venus fosters positivity in your personal connections. This could prove especially relevant for relationships developing within work settings, leading to shared activities or meaningful discussions. Senior colleagues might exhibit interest in you, yet maintaining decorum averts any unwanted complications. As for marriage, Jupiter, the 7th house ruler, enters a new position in the second half of May, easing ongoing issues in committed relationships. Saturn's steady presence in your 7th could still introduce minor strains, but Jupiter's shift should mitigate its impact. Hence, marital life has room for incremental improvements throughout the month. If challenges arise, patience and respectful dialogue sustain mutual understanding. Family and friends. Family affairs appear somewhat weaker, primarily due to Mars, debilitated in your second house, responsible for finances and domestic harmony. This can stir small disputes or discontent among relatives. Meanwhile, Jupiter's performance in the second house remains modest until mid-May, then picks up slightly. Overall, tensions may emerge, but good communication and willingness to settle disagreements reduce friction. Relationships with siblings fluctuate. Early in the month might be more favorable, whereas the remainder introduces occasional volatility. Meanwhile, Ketu occupying the 4th house part-time can spark underlying domestic concerns, though the 4th house lord's strong transit prevents major issues. With measured responses and open dialogue, you can navigate domestic ups and downs, keeping them from escalating. Consequently, May produces passable results for home life, stable in some respects, yet occasionally marked by small disruptions. May 2025 Cancer Horoscope. May 2025 holds promise for Cancer, offering outcomes slightly above the usual mark. Early in the month, the Sun transits your 10th house, then shifts to the 11th, a favorable progression that helps strengthen your ambitions and boost social connections. Despite this support, Mars spends the month in a weaker position, limiting its usual benefits. Mercury's transit, however, introduces mostly good influences, promoting effective communication and reasoning skills. Jupiter lends supportive energy in the first half, though it could yield more modest results later. Meanwhile, Saturn's role stays subdued, and Rahu likewise fails to offer much backing. Ketu, on the other hand, might deliver small gains early on. Overall, the month seems to bring better fortunes, especially in the initial weeks. Career. Your professional life demonstrates a mix of modest progress and cautionary notes. Mars, ruling your 10th house, remains debilitated in your 1st house, restricting the planet's natural vigor for career achievements. Yet the Sun's presence in your 10th house during early May provides an alternative source of motivation. From May 7th to May 23rd, Mercury's supportive transit can boost workplace productivity, making this window particularly valuable for decision-making or pitching new ideas. If your job requires international contacts or distant collaboration, you stand a good chance of success. Persistence and less reliance on emotion should pay off. Although you may consider a job change in the latter half, patience and thoughtful planning prove essential. Overall, the first half favors career efforts, while the second part requires diligence and clarity to maintain momentum. Finance. Financial prospects brighten thanks to Venus, the ruler of your profit sector, remaining exalted in your house of gains. During the first half, Jupiter's transit fortifies the 11th house, boosting possibilities for satisfying earnings. While Jupiter's support declines somewhat in late May, the Sun's shift to the profit area compensates by helping you secure funds. Steady profits are attainable, matching the effort you invest. Although Saturn's subtle influence can slow progress, a stable upward trend persists. Additionally, the Sun, ruler of your second house, occupies beneficial positions this month, fostering savings and shielding your existing resources. As Jupiter transitions to a weaker stance, new investments or projects may produce merely average returns. Nonetheless, overall finances should trend favorably, featuring consistent gains and prudent saving opportunities. Health. Health readings in May appear slightly mixed. Mars in your first house, in a weakened position, can create fluctuations, especially when weather shifts might aggravate minor illnesses, such as fevers or coughs. Individuals vulnerable to heat exhaustion should take extra precautions if living in regions prone to sudden temperature spikes. Drive carefully as well, since debilitated Mars increases the potential for small mishaps. On a brighter note, the Sun, a key health indicator, begins in a favorable, high-energy spot before moving to your 11th house, helping maintain vitality and warding off serious ailments. By focusing on balanced nutrition, rest, and possible lifestyle adjustments, you can keep most health risks at bay and recover quickly from any short-lived weaknesses. Love, marriage, and personal relations. Your romantic life features a blend of supportive and challenging elements. Mars, ruling your 5th house, is debilitated in your sign, somewhat dampening passion or intensifying minor conflicts. Jupiter's helpful aspect on the 5th house during early May, along with Venus's exalted position, makes the first half particularly conducive for affectionate moments. After mid-month, you might face more disagreements or heightened sensitivity in love. If friction surfaces, strive for calm, constructive dialogue, rather than abrupt reactions. Turning to marriage, Saturn, lord of your 7th house, remains in its own constellation without conferring significant boosts, while Mars casts an edgy aspect. Still, Jupiter and Venus strive to mitigate negativity, suggesting that consistent communication and thoughtful gestures maintain harmony. Family and friends. Your home environment shows encouraging signals despite a few possible complications. Family members exhibit mutual care and concern, reinforcing an atmosphere of warmth. Siblings could provide extra support, particularly in late May, aiding both domestic and social endeavors. Household matters benefit from Venus's exalted influence, though Rahu and Saturn's presence may spawn occasional unease in the first half. Even so, you can typically resolve small issues rapidly, especially if you follow elder relatives' advice. Keeping a respectful tone helps diffuse misunderstandings. Where domestic concerns emerge, such as needing repairs or appliances malfunctioning, swift action prevents larger inconveniences. Overall, May supplies generally pleasant conditions at home, with potential for increased unity and relaxed gatherings. May 2025, Leo Horoscope. May 2025 presents mixed or slightly below average outcomes for Leo. Although the Sun, your ruling planet, normally boosts confidence, planetary alignments indicate only moderate benefits this month. Early on, the Sun transits your 9th house in exaltation, which grants minor advantages. Later, it shifts into your 10th, supporting professional pursuits. However, Mars remains debilitated in your 12th, curbing energy and motivation. Mercury's placement offers variable results. Jupiter's help diminishes in the first half, but rebounds in the second. Venus tends toward supportive influences, while Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu do not promise notable improvement. Putting forth consistent effort, especially in the second half, can still yield decent progress and achievements. Career. In career matters, Venus, the lord of your 10th house, resides exalted in your 9th, signaling that your diligence can produce positive outcomes despite a somewhat strained environment. You may need extra perseverance to meet work targets, yet finishing tasks or reaching new milestones remains feasible, particularly in late May when the Sun enters your 10th house. For business owners, caution is advised. Mercury, representing commerce, lacks full strength this month, so taking bold risks might backfire. Instead, channel energy into improving current projects or processes. leveraging your experience for steady advancements. Meanwhile, employees can find the second half more fruitful. Even if early efforts seem slow, by month's end you should catch up on targets and potentially attract recognition or new responsibilities. Finance. Financially, Mercury transitions twice, influencing gains. From May 7th to May 23rd, you might experience slight setbacks or delays in cash flow. Still, these difficulties are typically temporary. Mars, the planet connected with your house of gains, remains debilitated in your 12th house, which can stifle income potential. Although you may not earn large profits, the exalted Sun in your house of fortune early in the month bolsters moderate monetary improvements. Once the Sun moves to the 10th house later, stable earnings remain probable. Keep a vigilant eye on spending habits, as emergencies or impulsive decisions could deplete reserves. Overall, you can expect results around break-even level, with minor ups and downs throughout May. Health. In health matters, the Sun's exalted status in your 9th house initially supports vitality, but Mars' debilitation in your 12th could reduce physical stamina and prompt fluctuations in energy. Changes in temperature or weather may also play a role, leading to occasional fevers, colds, or fatigue. Those with chronic conditions, particularly respiratory or circulatory issues, should exercise caution. Maintaining a balanced diet and practicing calm routines, such as regular sleep schedules, can minimize strain. In the second half, as the Sun enters the career sector, its direct impact on well-being weakens, so continue to monitor stress levels. By mitigating impulsive actions and focusing on stress management, you can preserve a stable state of health through most of May. Love, marriage, and personal relations. The sphere of romance sees both potential and complication. Jupiter, responsible for your 5th house, operates from a mixed position. Its assistance is less potent early on, but recovers in late May. As such, individuals in relationships could experience scheduling conflicts or external demands limiting quality time. The planet of love, Venus, being exalted, nevertheless fosters emotional warmth if approached with steady devotion. Meanwhile, watch for subtle tensions that may surface if you let everyday frustrations seep into communication. For married couples, marital happiness appears average. Saturn's continued effect may trigger sporadic misunderstandings, though none should escalate into larger conflicts if tackled promptly. Mars's debilitation in your 12th house can trigger irritability, so practicing patience is wise. As you move into late May, improved alignment from Jupiter and the Sun can clear misunderstandings and offer hope of revitalized intimacy. Family and friends. Family life in May is likely stable overall, though overshadowed by potential minor frictions. Mars in your 12th house casts energy that can raise irritability or foster impulsive remarks. This dynamic, combined with Saturn's lingering presence, can prompt arguments among family members if tempers flare. Nonetheless, open communication diffuses tensions. Listening carefully and offering constructive solutions help maintain a supportive home environment. Relations with siblings remain variable, with the first half possibly more prone to miscommunication. Remember that calm interactions and empathy pave the way toward cooperation. Meanwhile, the Sun's initial exaltation influences your broader social life, enabling you to network effectively or participate in group events. By the second half, these gatherings or activities may slow, but the emphasis on your work sphere could bring the family together in celebrating shared goals or achievements. May 2025 Virgo Horoscope. May 2025 brings average or mixed outcomes for Virgo. The Sun traverses your 8th house early on, later shifting to your 9th. Neither position is especially favorable. Nonetheless, Mars's debilitated placement in your 11th house, though it dampens its usual strength, still suggests better than ordinary results in areas linked to gains. Mercury, your ruling planet, changes position twice this month, forecasting partial improvements but also occasional shortfalls. Early in May, Jupiter looks strong, yet it slips in the latter half. Venus leans toward neutral, and Saturn appears weaker than desired. Rahu and Ketu deliver minimal benefits, though Ketu may generate somewhat more positive influence in the second part. Altogether, May likely settles around an average level, offering enough possibilities for success if handled with care. Career. Professional pursuits this month hinge on Mercury's positions. At the start of May, Mercury sits debilitated in your 7th house, a less than ideal arrangement that necessitates caution. From May 7th to May 23rd, it travels your 8th house, rarely a direct boost for work, then remains moderately weak after May 23rd. Given these transitions, it's best to sidestep risky career moves, especially if you own a business. The realm of partnerships or major ventures warrants restraint, as new deals may falter without proper vetting. Meanwhile, if you hold a job, you could find your superiors unimpressed by your work, even when done correctly. Thus, patience and focus prove crucial. Rely on your steady effort rather than expecting immediate recognition. Despite these hurdles, Mars contributes moderate support in your 11th house, symbolizing that any devoted diligence might translate into modest achievements. By consistently striving, you secure gradual growth, albeit not dramatic gains. Concluding the month, Mercury regains a bit of strength, improving communications or pending negotiations somewhat. Finance. Financially, May offers a blend of potential gains and cautious budgeting. The Moon, ruling your 11th house, is difficult to pin down for monthly predictions due to its rapid shifts, but Mars occupying your 11th can lead to unexpected opportunities for profit. Although Mars is debilitated, its presence here still symbolizes incremental earnings, if occasionally short of expectations. Travel related to acquiring funds or meeting clients could yield positive results, despite inconvenience. Venus, representing your 2nd house of wealth, remains in a neutral stance, enabling moderate savings, but not a clear path to robust accumulation. Jupiter gives extra help early in May, but fades somewhat afterward, so increased effort is essential to lock in favorable returns. Overall, you can foresee modest to decent earnings, with an emphasis on prudent spending to preserve what you gain. Health. Health-wise, May's forecast skews a bit below average. Rahu, Ketu, and Saturn have noticeable impacts on your ascendant in the first half, often creating fluctuations in energy or mild disruptions to well-being. Additionally, Mercury's weaker placements limit your trademark capacity for quick adjustments. In the month's latter portion, both Rahu and Ketu reduce their ascendant influence, while Jupiter's once brighter effect dims slightly. This translates into partial relief, though ongoing care remains wise. With Mars debilitated, you're more susceptible to small infections, minor injuries, or digestive upsets. If you're already managing conditions tied to the heart or circulation, remain extra watchful regarding dietary and lifestyle factors. The Sun, which can help or hinder health, fails to offer much direct protection from either the 8th or 9th house. Adopting balanced habits and proactive self-care keeps troubles at bay. Love, marriage, and personal relations. Within romance, Saturn, lord of your 5th house, resides in your sign's constellation under conditions that might stifle warmth, urging caution in love. Moreover, Mars in your 11th consistently aspecting your 5th house can spark friction or dissatisfaction with a partner. Happily, Jupiter's 9th aspect early in May mitigates these quarrels, granting a measure of harmony. Still, the second half sees Jupiter's backing wane, making open communication even more essential. For marriage, Mercury, ruler of your 7th house, moves unpredictably, staying weakened in early and late May. This can undermine marital stability if couples let minor tensions escalate. Thankfully, Mars's presence in your gains house can smooth ties for diligent individuals who focus on shared goals and practical solutions. By prioritizing thoughtful listening, both love affairs and married life can endure small storms successfully this month. Family and friends. Domestic issues linger near average throughout May, leaning weaker at points. With Mars debilitated yet firmly in your 11th house, you might manage familial responsibilities well enough, although tensions can arise if conversation becomes heated. Unpredictable Mercury transitions hamper sustained family harmony. From May 7th to May 23rd, Mercury lands in your 8th house, amplifying possible misunderstandings or awkward household moments. Summoning patience during times of stress helps prevent arguments from spiraling. Siblings generally stay supportive. Mars in the 11th fosters cooperation, though weaker than if Mars was fully robust. Meanwhile, Small constraints or obligations may hamper shared activities if finances or scheduling conflicts emerge. Overall, consistent, gentle dialogue fosters a friendlier environment, and by month's end, a slight uptick in Mercury's strength can ease lingering miscommunications. In short, calmness and thoughtful engagement encourage decent stability in family life. May 2025 Libra Horoscope. May 25 points to mixed or average outcomes for Libra. During this month, the Sun travels through your 7th and 8th houses. Neither placement is highly favorable, though the Sun's exaltation in early May can deliver some beneficial effects. Mars, transiting in a debilitated position in your 10th house, limits its usual positive contributions, while Mercury's transit offers contradictory influences. Jupiter looks weak in the first half but more supportive in the second. Venus remains moderately helpful. Saturn's current path likely yields constructive results, whereas Rahu could help early on but weakens later. Ketu, by contrast, starts the month weaker yet displays improvement in late May. In short, you can anticipate a blend of moderate achievements alongside minor challenges, with the second half leaning slightly stronger in certain areas. Career. Given the moon's ever-changing positions, making monthly forecasts for your career can prove tricky. However, Mars debilitated in your career sector suggests professional volatility. Emotional or impulsive decisions made by business owners could lead to undesirable outcomes, underlining the importance of fact-based judgments. Those in employment might grapple with aligning well with superiors or colleagues who seem critical of their performance. Travel for business or extensive fieldwork also demands extra caution and meticulous planning to avoid setbacks. Nonetheless, a more supportive Sun in the early part of May, followed by Jupiter's beneficial turn later on, counters some of these strains. Drawing on expertise and seeking guidance from reliable mentors or bosses helps you navigate the month successfully. Finance. When it comes to finances, May presents mixed signals. The Sun, ruler of your 11th house of gains, spends the first half exalted, raising prospects for income or lucrative opportunities. However, after moving into the 8th house later in the month, it becomes less constructive, potentially slowing revenue streams. Jupiter improves in the second half, compensating somewhat. Meanwhile, Mars, lord of your 2nd house, remains debilitated and can obstruct your saving efforts. Although you may receive reasonable income or profits, storing away funds might be harder than expected. Ultimately, you may need to exercise financial restraint, avoid large expenditures, and postpone major new investments until more auspicious alignments emerge. These strategies foster steadier financial management throughout May. Health. Health for the month skews toward average or slightly below average. Though Venus, your ascendant ruler, is exalted, it remains placed in the 6th house, which can aggravate minor health issues. In the first half of May, the Sun, a signifier of physical well-being, sits in a relatively decent spot, yet transiting your 7th house does not promise major relief. Later, as the Sun shifts, its support fades, so your vitality might dip. Additionally, the influence of a debilitated Mars provides little to no boost, and individuals with heart or blood-related concerns should stay particularly alert. By keeping to regular medical checkups, a healthy diet, and moderate exercise, you can stabilize your physical condition and handle any sporadic ailments effectively. Love, marriage, and personal relations. Saturn, ruler of your 5th house, enjoys a generally favorable position, offering potential steadiness in romantic endeavors, yet occasionally bringing emotional distance or a stoic outlook. Coupled with Mars's 8th aspect targeting your 5th house, occasional disagreements may surface. Happily, Jupiter's more supportive transit in the latter half fosters improvements and helps rebuild harmony, making late May more conducive for affectionate exchanges. Meanwhile, exalted Venus in your 6th house provides moderate benefits but demands care in navigating relationship matters. Keep an eye on emotional impulses or miscommunications. In marital affairs, you might face some turbulence given the Sun transiting your 7th house early on and Mars's lack of assistance. Nevertheless, Jupiter mitigates negative effects in the second half, allowing you to steer your partnership toward resolution and understanding with patience and open discussion. Family and friends. Family dynamics remain somewhat vulnerable this month. Mars, debilitated in your 10th house, can generate friction related to domestic settings, and Rahu or Saturn's interference in early May may amplify misunderstandings. Language used in moments of anger or stress can heighten tensions, making polite and respectful communication crucial for conflict resolution. Encouragingly, Jupiter aspects the second house in the first half, signifying a wise elder's involvement or guidance that can calm disputes. Sibling relationships are likely to remain average, though occasional mood swings or disagreements might arise. Toward the end of May, Ketu displays improvement, potentially bringing a sense of closure or relief to lingering household issues. Attentive, steady efforts to unify the family, backed by empathy, ensure better outcomes across your domestic life. May 2025 Scorpio Horoscope. May 2025 promises Scorpio a month of potentially strong successes, despite certain transits yielding only average impacts. The Sun favors you in the initial half, but weakens once it shifts in the latter part. Mars remains debilitated, offering little support, while Mercury remains positive most of the month. Jupiter thrives in the first half but sags slightly afterward, and Venus remains consistently helpful. Saturn's presence lacks major benefits, whereas Rahu isn't poised to help in May, though Ketu could confer some limited advantages. With careful effort and persistence, you can raise these moderate astrological indications to a notably higher outcome, especially in the first half. Career. At the onset of May, the Sun, ruler of your 10th house, sits strongly in your 6th. This alignment can enhance professional momentum, offering a fine period to achieve milestones or earn recognition. However, once the Sun transitions to the 7th house later, its influence lessens. Overall, you can expect above-average achievements, particularly in early May, though mid to late month looks more mixed. Meanwhile, business owners should prioritize important plans between May 7th and May 15th. Mercury's and the Sun's combined strengths foster a supportive window for confident decisions. Salaried workers also enjoy a surge in productivity and favor from superiors during this phase. By the final weeks, motivation might wane, but the groundwork laid early on still propels you forward. Finance. Mercury governs your house of profits and travels in ways that promise moderate gains this month. Initially debilitated but aspecting your 11th house, Mercury brings steady, if not spectacular, returns. From May 7th onward, it supports further improvements, making thoughtful actions valuable. Jupiter's aid during the first half grants you various financial boosts. You could see meaningful gains in business deals, job incentives, or new contracts. For instance, those in sales or consulting may find new streams of income. You also benefit from Ketu's presence in your profit house early on, though it's short-lived. By mid to late May, Jupiter shifts from robust to weaker positions, so your momentum may slow. Even so, the overall scenario remains decent, allowing for saving or reinvestment if you practice prudence. Health. May's health profile appears average to below average, mainly due to your ascendant lord, Mars, residing in debilitation within your 9th house of fortune. This arrangement can generate fluctuating well-being and potential vulnerabilities, including exposure to heat stroke or minor injuries. Be cautious if you drive, particularly in hotter climates. Fortunately, Jupiter occupies your 7th house initially, aspecting your 1st house for added protection. This planet of expansion and support might neutralize serious threats, making the first half relatively safe. Nevertheless, mind changes in temperature and schedule regular checkups if you have chronic conditions. When the second half arrives, the Sun's position weakens, so you should remain vigilant. Balanced diets, hydration, and moderate exercise help preserve good health. Love, marriage, and personal relations. Romantically, conditions look promising in early May. Jupiter, lord of your 5th house, resides in your 7th, fostering a harmonious spark between partners, while Venus complements the positivity. However, Saturn influences the 5th house, dulling some enthusiasm and creating intermittent friction. Mars's placement might intensify small spats. Though nothing major, it calls for mindful communication to preserve closeness. You can generally expect above-average outcomes here, especially prior to mid-month. Married life, in turn, sees moderate but stable results. Jupiter in the 7th amplifies cooperation with your spouse during the first half. Once Jupiter moves, its support weakens, and the Sun plus Saturn pose mild tests. Patience and discussions help address any hurdles. Family and friends. Family affairs fare relatively well, particularly in the first half. Jupiter, ruling your second house, stands in the seventh house early on, an auspicious signal for strong household accord. There might even be a celebratory occasion or an important communal decision that pleases relatives. Nevertheless, your domestic environment could feel slightly unsettled. Appliances or equipment may cause brief frustrations due to Mars's influence on the fourth house. Overall, though, the synergy of Jupiter's aspect and Saturn's steady presence fosters peace if handled carefully. By mid to late May, minor difficulties can arise, yet adopting a calm approach averts escalation. While you must remain cautious about sibling dynamics, Mars energy can fuel occasional tension. Most familial interactions remain constructive and supportive. May 2025 Sagittarius Horoscope. May 2025 presents Sagittarius with a spectrum of outcomes, with the second half showing considerably better promise. Early on, the Sun transits an exalted position in your fifth house, an inherently neutral spot despite the Sun's elevation, while in the latter half it shifts into your sixth house, likely improving circumstances. Meanwhile, Mars remains debilitated in your eighth house, curbing its usual positive influence. Mercury's changing positions, initially in your fourth house, then fifth, and finally sixth, introduce variable effects. Jupiter tends to bring weaker results in the first half, but rebounds in the second. Venus largely supports your endeavors throughout, while Saturn's transit yields no major gains. Rahu might perform poorly early in the month, but looks better later, whereas Ketu fails to provide much benefit overall. Thus, the initial weeks seem softer, and the latter stretch offers greater advantages. Career. According to May's horoscope, Mercury, the ruler of your career sector, goes through two transitions. It begins debilitated in your fourth house, implying subdued outcomes. Between May 7th and May 23rd, Mercury occupies your fifth, which is also not ideal for driving strong career growth. However, it does improve toward the end of the month after May 23rd. Accordingly, Mercury's fluctuations bring mixed results, making big professional or business risks less advisable. Postponing any job change until the final week when conditions brighten might prove beneficial. Jupiter's better alignment in late May, combined with the Sun moving to your sixth house, fosters optimism. Therefore, while mid-month may not be an ideal time for bold moves, the final weeks could usher in constructive developments in both job and business pursuits. If you prioritize patience and lean on colleagues or mentors, you'll likely manage potential disruptions, ending the month on a stronger note. Finance. Financially, Venus, your planet of gains, remains exalted, a bonus for income prospects. Although Mars sits debilitated in the eighth house, its aspect on your 11th house could still mean moderate earnings if you push consistently. Initially, the Sun's exaltation in your fifth house offers limited but existing pathways for profit, and once it shifts to the sixth, you could see steadier cash flow. Saturn's unfriendly position dampens robust saving, so allocating resources prudently is crucial. Mars's weakened role hints at possible impulsive outlays or partial blockage of your gains, stressing the need for budgeting. On the bright side, Jupiter aspects your house of profits in the second half, indicating support for improved revenue. Whether in salary or freelance endeavors, you may achieve moderate results, but saving money remains challenging. Practicing restraint in new investments or speculative ventures can prevent financial strain until conditions become more favorable. Health. In terms of well-being, May looks slightly above average. No severe ailments appear likely, though a debilitated Mars in your eighth house does raise the risk of minor accidents or general fatigue. If you're prone to heart or circulatory issues, stay alert. The Sun's transit may eventually boost immunity in the second half, but offers scant relief early on. Maintaining an orderly lifestyle, visiting doctors regularly, if needed, and practicing mindful eating can stabilize health. Jupiter, your ascendant lord, is less effective in the first half, but more supportive thereafter, limiting persistent ailments. Bouts of stress remain possible amid career and family pressures, so integrating calm routines, like gentle exercise or hobbies, helps sustain energy. Overall, thoughtful self-care ensures you emerge from May largely unscathed. Love, marriage, and personal relations. Romantically, Mars lingers debilitated in your 5th house, sometimes fueling misunderstandings or terse debates. You or your partner might feel roused by rumors or outside influences, underscoring the value of open communication. Venus, meanwhile, should keep warmth alive, yet challenges persist if you allow negativity to fester. By mid to late month, the Sun leaves your 5th house, and Jupiter's bolstered position highlights a more cheerful, collaborative atmosphere. Married couples might initially see average happiness. Saturn's effect on your house of marriage can cause mild strains, but Jupiter's improvement helps mitigate them later. An open, respectful approach guards you from avoidable clashes. If there is a conversation about marriage or new proposals, the second half likely proves more fertile ground for progress, with negativity steadily diminishing under Jupiter's guidance. Family and friends. Family concerns could suffer slightly, as Saturn, the second house lord, stands unsupportive in your 4th house, and Mars's aspect on the 2nd might spark arguments. In larger households, minor tensions risk escalation if tempers flare, making tactful, respectful conversations all the more essential. Jupiter's 9th aspect on the 2nd house early on can diffuse quarrels, especially if an elder mediates disputes. In the second half of May, Jupiter moves to your 7th house, potentially enhancing domestic cooperation, but still requiring measured speech to maintain harmony. Interactions with siblings and close friends may fluctuate. Saturn's less favorable stance weakens your ability to smooth differences, while Mars, linking the 3rd house, might complicate communications if you're not vigilant. Overall, household life is likely to ride a wave of mild stress early on, transitioning to modest relief in late May. Proactive, empathetic engagement remains key to preventing challenges from evolving into bigger disruptions. May 2025 Capricorn Horoscope. May 2025 offers Capricorn generally above average results, though certain transits could intensify conflict. Early in the month, the Sun travels through your 4th house, moving into your 5th for the latter half. Neither position is especially supportive, but you should still see steady progress overall. Meanwhile, Mars spends the month debilitated in your 7th house, limiting its usual advantages. Mercury's transit swings between unfavorable at the start and end, and more helpful from May 7th to May 23rd, covering much of May with good communication and decision-making potential. Jupiter appears beneficial early on, but wanes somewhat later, while Venus points to increased enjoyment throughout. Saturn, a crucial planet for Capricorn, generally remains positive, though Rahu and Ketu split their influences between the 1st and 2nd halves of the month. In short, May provides better than average outcomes, with the first half yielding stronger gains. Career. Your professional prospects look promising as the ruler of your career house takes a powerful stance in your 3rd house. If your work involves field assignments or travel, expect significant opportunities and possibly welcome news about your career. Support from siblings or friends can further bolster your activities. For business owners, the first week, until May 7th, may feel underwhelming, but May 7th to May 23rd presents the ideal window for bold decisions and steady progress. By late May, you might have to approach critical choices more carefully, as Mercury's support diminishes. Those with salaried positions should see the best results between May 7th and May 23rd, particularly if seeking a new role or requesting a transfer. Additionally, be mindful that Mars's debilitated placement can magnify tension, so avoid impulsive moves. Overall, adopt patience and rational thinking to maximize the month's positive momentum. Finance. Financially, May unfolds with somewhat mixed signs. Mars, the lord of your house of gains, remains debilitated in your 7th house, slowing income generation. Yet your determination should mitigate this hindrance. Although some of your efforts may not yield immediate rewards, maintaining diligence will pay off eventually. Meanwhile, your 2nd house lord is well placed, ensuring that any earnings are retained rather than wasted. Early in the month, Jupiter, symbolizing wealth, aligns favorably for gains. Come mid-May, Jupiter's shift could lower direct benefits, but it will still help maintain stability. mindful restraint is recommended, as Mars can prompt both irritability and rushed spending decisions. By exercising caution, you can secure an equilibrium where modest improvements in finances gradually accrue, sidestepping major upheavals. Health. May brings fairly positive health trends. Saturn, your ascendant ruler, occupies a strong position, likely protecting you from serious ailments. This month, you may feel drawn to healthy habits such as yoga, pranayama, or other forms of exercise, reinforcing general well-being. However, debilitated Mars in your 7th house sends energy toward your 1st house, implying periodic irritability or minor health fluctuations related to seasonal temperature changes. Problems like headaches or low-grade fevers might arise sporadically, but they should remain manageable. Moreover, the Sun's early placement in your 4th house could stress individuals with heart concerns. Vigilance is essential for them. As the month progresses, mild chest discomfort or stomach irritations may appear, but consistent attention to diet and lifestyle should keep these issues at bay. With timely precautions, your health outlook remains favorable overall. Love, marriage, and personal relations. Venus, governing your 5th house, stays exalted in the 3rd house this month, bringing a wave of optimism to romantic connections. Although Saturn does cast an aspect on the 5th house, any resulting minor friction will likely be minor, especially in the first half of May when Jupiter fully supports your endeavors. In the latter half, the Sun transitions to your 5th house, which may boost creativity but could stir ego-related tensions. Keeping open and honest communication helps avert misunderstandings. As for married life, results appear slightly weaker than average. Even though both Venus and Jupiter lend their backing, Mars's debilitated placement in the 7th house might spark occasional disagreements or misunderstandings. Reining in conflicts promptly, maintaining empathy, and balancing responsibilities enhance harmony, sustaining a decent level of marital satisfaction despite possible challenges. Family and friends. Family matters appear mostly positive in May. Saturn, lord of your 2nd house, takes up residence in the 3rd, offering support for domestic concerns. Still, you need to watch for Mars's 9th aspect on the 2nd house, which can cause disputes among family members if tempers run high. Thankfully, Saturn's robust position indicates that calmly avoiding confrontations prevents any lingering tension. Relations with siblings remain moderate but can lean positive if you treat them thoughtfully. Meanwhile, the Sun's early transit in your 4th house can present small household obstacles, especially for those dealing with repairs or modifications. Mars, ruling your 4th house, lingers in debilitation all month, occasionally heightening frustration over day-to-day hiccups. By keeping communication fluid and cooperating on shared tasks, you can maintain an overall harmonious environment and address minor issues before they escalate. May 2025 Aquarius Horoscope. May 2025 looks promising for Aquarius, with most planetary alignments indicating favorable outcomes. The Sun starts in your 3rd house, boosting self-confidence and motivation early in the month. As it shifts later, its positive impact gradually tapers off. Mars's presence in your 6th house tends to produce better than usual results, although Mercury's transit could affect communication and relationships. Meanwhile, Jupiter's transition from average influences in the 1st half to more supportive energies in the 2nd half helps strengthen your overall prospects. Venus largely favors you, yet Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu might pose certain hurdles. Despite a few possible roadblocks, your determination and consistent effort should help you achieve commendable success in many areas. Career. This month, your 10th house lord resides in the 6th house, but remains somewhat debilitated. Nevertheless, Mars in the 6th house often symbolizes victory over adversities. You will likely persevere at work by adopting a diligent, honest approach. For business people, Mars demands active involvement. Entrusting critical tasks to others could hamper progress. Mercury, governing trade and commerce, delivers its best outcomes early and late in May. Travel or expansion from May 7th to May 23rd may prove less fruitful. If you have a job, anticipate tangible rewards for your endeavors. Though you might work harder, your efforts pay off. Overcoming any rivalry or petty conflicts should lead to completing important objectives. Once Jupiter moves into your 5th house in the 2nd half, It amplifies professional creativity, enabling you to persuade colleagues and superiors to your advantage. Finance. Financially, Jupiter, the ruler of your gains, exerts only moderate influence early in May, but strengthens substantially after it settles in your fifth house. This dual role, managing both wealth and profit, promises that your dedication will pay dividends. Some prior attempts that had stagnated may now bring long-awaited returns, possibly surpassing expectations. As Jupiter aspects your 11th house, your income avenues multiply, and you can seize profitable ventures. Saving money is equally likely, complemented by the potential to channel past savings into new investments. The second half of the month stands out for greater financial progress, so remain attentive to developing opportunities. Overall, May's economic climate favors growth, even if you need patience for meaningful outcomes. Health. In terms of health, outcomes may prove moderate, given that Saturn, your ascendant lord, occupies an unfavorable position. Although it stays in its own constellation, Saturn's transit through your second house remains a weak link, with Rahu and Ketu influencing it at the month's start. Such interactions could disrupt nutrition or daily routines, leading to stomach issues or oral discomfort. In the waist and lower abdomen, mild infections or aches can surface. Fortunately, the Sun in exaltation during the first half of May minimizes serious ailments. Additionally, Jupiter's ingress to your fifth house later on aspects your first house, granting protective energy. Attentive self-care bolsters resilience. Mindful eating, regular exercise, and medical checkups help sustain vitality. Despite mixed signals, conscientious habits can keep you feeling steady. Love, marriage, and personal relations. Your fifth house ruler, Mercury, suggests average results for romance, but exalted Venus ensures significant potential for enjoyable interactions. Jupiter settling into your fifth house mid-month further magnifies positive feelings, supporting open expressions of affection. Thus, committed couples and respectful partners may find deeper emotional connections. However, elders might disapprove if love unfolds impulsively or indiscreetly. Regarding marriage, the seventh house ruler remains exalted early on, fostering happy bonding with your spouse, though such moments may dwindle after mid-month. Jupiter's supportive angle tries to sustain optimism, yet small inconveniences may interrupt harmony. Overall, remain flexible and use constructive dialogue to maintain closeness throughout the month. Family and friends. Family affairs show varied but mostly favorable indicators. Though Saturn occupying your second house could cause minor disruptions or occasional misunderstandings, the second half of May brings better prospects as Jupiter exerts a positive influence. Early on, Rahu and Ketu might aggravate small issues, but these can be diffused by calm communication and refraining from harsh words. Siblings, particularly in the initial weeks, may provide moral or practical support, bolstering your social standing. Domestic matters stand to benefit from Venus in good position. You might swiftly resolve everyday glitches and maintain a comfortable household. Jupiter in your fourth house for the opening phase delivers average results, then transitions to the fifth house, which effectively neutralizes Saturn's less helpful aspect on home life. Although minor obstacles can arise, attentiveness and adaptability keep your family environment content. May 2025 Pisces Horoscope. May 2025 promises mostly average or mixed results for Pisces. Early in the month, the Sun stands exalted in your second house, an inherently unfavorable house for solar energy, yet its strong placement provides modest benefits. Later, when the Sun transits your third house, you may find more scope for constructive engagements. Meanwhile, Mars remains debilitated in your fifth house, limiting its usual vigor and occasionally stirring disruptive influences. Mercury's transit evolves across three positions, initially in your first house, then your second, and finally your third, indicating that most of May features positive mental agility and communication. Jupiter occupies your third and fourth houses, neither of which grants it full potency. Venus appears beneficial, while Saturn's transit suggests milder, less auspicious outcomes, and the nodes, Rahu and Ketu, bring fluctuating effects. On the whole, you can expect a balanced month with modest successes, particularly in the second half. Career. This month, Jupiter, the ruler of your 10th house, resides first in your third house and then moves to your fourth. Neither placement is considered highly advantageous, implying mild fluctuations in your career. In business, uncertainty may loom. You could be tempted to invest further, but also feel indecisive. Conflicting guidance from experienced colleagues might compound doubts, suggesting a cautious approach and possible postponements. Meanwhile, employed individuals encounter moderate career developments. During the first weeks, efforts might yield respectable results, and the last portion of the month could further enhance your prospects, especially if you seek transfers or new responsibilities. You should emphasize fact-based decisions rather than giving in to momentary impulses or emotional reasoning. Maintaining open lines of communication with superiors helps secure steady, if modest, progress. Finance. Financially, Saturn, ruler of your 11th house, remains in your first house in its own nakshatra. This signals partial benefits that match your diligence. In other words, although Saturn does not grant immediate large gains, it also does not hinder them completely. Jupiter's supervision over your profits in early May, plus Mars's influence, suggests you can access funds if necessary. Nonetheless, Mars's weakness as the lord of your second house hinders accumulating wealth, increasing the difficulty of saving this month. The Sun's transit in your second house through early May can add strain on reserves. Taken together, you may make modest progress, but consistent discipline is necessary to avoid income shortfalls. Deliberate choices and a methodical outlook guard against sudden financial gaps. Health. From a health perspective, May brings a two-part story. In the early half, Rahu, Ketu, and Saturn collectively stress your first house, possibly lowering your energy. The situation improves in the latter part of the month as Rahu and Ketu's impact wanes, and Mercury's favorable positioning, plus the Sun's supportive transit, come into play. This shift should noticeably boost vitality. Still, debilitated Mars in your fifth house can induce stomach or digestive woes, acid reflux, indigestion, or mild discomfort. Eye irritation might also occur. Fortunately, these conditions remain manageable with mindful eating, hydration, and sufficient rest. By heeding minor symptoms, you could avert bigger complications, enabling you to preserve good health throughout May. Love, marriage, and personal relations. Romantically, Mars, a key planet for your fifth house, resides in a debilitated state this month. As a result, disputes or misunderstandings may flare more readily, sometimes propelled by rumors or third-party gossip. Maintaining mutual understanding and calm discussions offsets potential strain. Here, Venus, strong in your chart, offers bright prospects if managed tactfully. Even though friction might arise, its overall effect can remain contained if you act thoughtfully. In marital life, outcomes fall around average. Mercury, ruler of your 7th house, delivers especially favorable results from May 7th to May 23rd, helping stabilize spousal rapport. In the first and final weeks, Mercury weakens, and Rahu-Ketu influence may spark disagreements. Nevertheless, the second half allows for a smoother, more optimistic dynamic in married relationships, thanks to improved planetary aspects. Family and friends. Family matters could edge toward weaker territory in May. Debilitated Mars, a significant factor for your second house, stays lodged in your fifth house, occasionally triggering internal frictions. Clashes of temperament or harsh words within the family may flare if left unchecked. Moreover, the Sun's initial transit in your second house rarely fosters harmony, though it does recede after mid-month. Meanwhile, Jupiter's early aspect to your second house helps moderate disputes, especially with the intervention of respected elders or calm voices. However, the presence of Mars can undermine civility unless you remain mindful of tone and approach. Sibling relations may prove moderate overall, showing improvement through shared activities or mutual support, yet overshadowed by minor outbursts if tensions run high. Handling routine domestic tasks with patience keeps inconvenience minimal, ensuring a serviceable, if not outstanding, home environment through May. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, share, and subscribe to get all the horoscope updates.